Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new then welcome. My name's Kristina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So before you go, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave any comments that you have for me down below. I recently shared my best of beauty for 2023, and today we're going to be covering all of the lip products that I loved from the year 2023. I will be swatching all of them on my lips as we go on, so without further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink. It's going to be a long video, and let's get started. Starting off with lip balms, lip oils, and lip treatments, we have the Haus Labs pH Lip Oil. This is in the secondary shade. It is described as a sheer orange, but as you can see on my lips, it doesn't necessarily look orange. It kind of just adds a sheer tint of color. It makes my natural lip color look a little bit darker, and I really enjoy the way that this one looks. It's slightly shiny, but it's not drippy like some lip oils can be. I do love a really wet glossy oil, but this one was a really nice in between. The texture of this is slightly sticky, but it still is very, very thin and slightly slick as well. I liked this because I was able to wear this as a lip color by itself. I could wear it with a lip liner. Going on, it feels a little bit more tacky, a little bit more like a gloss, but when you rub your lips together, it feels really slick like a lip oil. It does have a slight thickness to it to where it feels hydrating on the lips, and it's not just like a glossy finish, or it's not like a Vaseline type of lip oil. I truly feel like this lip oil actually hydrates my lips after wearing it for a while. I loved to use these to prep my lips, and I also loved using them as my finished lip color. Oh, and it is slightly staining, and I want to say that the sheer orange shade does change a little bit in tone, because the primary shade, which is more of a berry tone, it does change with the pH levels of your body, and I believe that the orange one does it slightly, but I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's never been completely clear to me. My next favorite are these lip balms. These are the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balms, and these two shades specifically were my favorites of this year. This one is in the shade Pink Sugar, and this is in the shade Vanilla Beige. Both of them give you a very natural look on the lips, but typically I find with tinted lip balms that seems to be the case anyways, but these I felt like were super flattering. When I first purchased Pink Sugar, I was not sure if I would like the shade. I thought it was going to be a little bit too milky pink, but I have it on right now, and as you can see, it just kind of like accentuates the pink in my lips already. It doesn't make them lighter. If anything, I feel like the color kind of complements the shine of the gloss. It almost makes it look a little bit more metallic-y on the lips, therefore looking a little bit more shiny. These are so hydrating on the lips. They're described as feeling like a silky balm, and that's exactly what they feel like. They don't have any stickiness to them, and they do have a little bit of a thickness, but the way that it lays on the lips, it feels very slick, very silky. These smell incredible. They have a very light, sweet, sugary scent to them. It doesn't really linger too long, but you definitely can smell it as you're applying it. But Vanilla Beige, this one I just applied on my lips. This was my first favorite of the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm line. This shade is just gorgeous. It is a slight pinky brown shade. It adds a little bit of depth to my lips, but it's still bright enough to where I feel like I can wear it every day. I loved using these balms to prep my lips before doing my makeup. I loved using them in the morning. I even use them at night sometimes, and a lot of my lip balm favorites actually have shea butter in them, and I found this past year that shea butter is like my #1 lip balm ingredient. I just always tend to gravitate towards them. My next lip balm favorites are these Naturium Phyto-Glow Lip Balms. I love this formulation in general, but these two shades were my most used shades from the year. This is the shade Spice, and then we also have the shade Mocha. I'm wearing Spice right now, and I truly feel like this is a little bit more of an elevated, a little bit darker tint of that Vanilla Beige from Summer Fridays. These do have shea butter, kapuka butter, and squalane. I think that they are so nourishing on the lips. They feel slightly thicker than the Summer Fridays one, but still not super thick, not sticky, not tacky whatsoever. They give you a really amazing color payoff, and this line, the Nudes collection, did come out during the latter half of the year, but I feel like I wore these constantly whenever I purchased them. These used to have a metal tip applicator, but they got rid of those years ago, but it still has a really nice shape to it to where it lays flat on the lips, but it still disperses the product really nicely. I love it for prep, but mainly I would wear this as like my finished lip color. The texture of these are a little bit thicker, so you do have to kind of like squeeze really hard to get the product out. Here is the shade Mocha On. As you can see, it's definitely still a very wearable shade. And I actually love when tinted lip balms are these darker shades because they translate on the lips very differently. They're definitely more sheer, and I find a lot more wearable for myself to where I feel like I can wear on an everyday basis still, even though they are on the darker side of things. Next, we have a lip mask I left in my bathroom, but it is the Lawless Juicy Watermelon Lip Mask, and just the Lawless lip mask formulation in general is amazing. It's a new find for me this past 2023. I love using a lip mask before I go to bed, and this one I have just been gravitating towards. So the Juicy Watermelon one I love because it smells exactly like watermelon candy. It smells so yummy and delicious. I would say a little bit on the thinner side of things when it comes to lip masks. However, you can layer it onto the lips and it feels very nourishing even with a really thin layer, and it does have a slightly kind of like plumping effect to the lips. I see it in the mornings. I feel like my lips still feel hydrated when I wake up, but it doesn't feel sticky, doesn't bother me when I go to bed at night, and the tingly feeling is not abrasive whatsoever, so it doesn't distract me when I'm trying to fall asleep. It definitely has a very slight plumping feeling, which I think is totally fine. It's slightly minty. I enjoy a minty plumper when it comes to lip products, so this one was definitely up my alley. I have used it every single night since I've opened it. It is just the best. Jumping into the lip category now, we're going to start off with more of the glossy balm type of lipsticks, starting off with the Kosas Wet Stick in the shade 100 Degrees. This one by far was my most worn one from the Kosas Wet Stick line. I did do a full review on these, and this is just exactly what I wanted it to be. It's described as a neutral pinky beige. It is the perfect everyday shade, but also if I wanted just to not even think about a lip color and I wanted something easy, no fuss, this would be one of the first lipsticks that I reach for. It feels exactly like a slick lip balm, which is my favorite feeling whenever I'm applying lip products. I love how nourishing it feels. It's not overly shiny, so if I know that I'm going to be outdoors, if I don't want like my hair to get into like my glossy lip balm or lip gloss or anything like that, and I still want that nourished lip look, I feel like this is the perfect formulation for an occasion like that. You can go in with layers and layers and it's still going to give you this very subtle shine, but you do get, I would say, light medium to medium coverage when it comes to opacity. People ask me all the time what kind of traditional lipsticks I go for to kind of decrease the emphasis of my lip lines. This is definitely one of them. Because of the slight shine in this formulation, it sort of like fills in and plumps those lip lines so it's not as noticeable. If you're not a fan of the way lipstick feels, then this one might be nice if you're looking for that same type of pigmentation that a lipstick can give you. Next, we have an Asian makeup brand. This is from the brand Rom&nd or Rom&nd. I say Rom&nd. This is the Glasting Melting Balm in the shade number 5, Nougat Sand. I first picked this up, I think, in the fall time, and I have had this in my purse nonstop. It has not made its way like into any of my makeup drawers or even on my vanity because it has jumped from purse to purse. As you can see, it has a lot of shine to it, but I think what makes this very special is the texture of this. So first off, it is in this lip balm type of compartment here, so it applies like a lip balm. It gives you a lot of shine, but the texture of this is going to be a little bit more on the thicker side of things. So if you think of something like the Hourglass Glossy Bombs, the Tarte Maracuja lip oils, like that format where it's a longer, skinnier, balmy thing, then this is similar to that, except this one gives you absolutely no goopiness. You know how sometimes those formulations can deposit too much product and then it causes you to have like that goop in the center whenever you're talking? This does not do that. For some reason, this just stays in place even though it has a little bit more of a thicker consistency. So it still feels really comfortable exactly like a balm, but because it is a little bit thicker, it lasts a really long time on the lips. You don't have to reapply it as often. I will say it is very melty, like the name describes, so maybe when you apply this, you should probably look in a mirror so you don't like get it all over your face. It's not like transfer proof, it's still going to be like your standard melty gloss balm type of thing. And this shade is still, I would describe a pinky brown, but there's more pink in it than there is brown, so it kind of lifts and accentuates the natural pink in my lips again. This formulation is definitely my reigning champion when it comes to glossy balms for the year. Next, we have the Glossier Ultralip in the shade Trench. This one is very similar in texture and in look as the Kosas Wet Stick, except this one does have a little bit more of an orangey undertone to it. Like I said, the texture is going to be that standard lip balm, glossy lip balmy feel, and this one gives you very slight gloss, so it's a very wearable, very natural type of lip product. I have sometimes worn this with no makeup on and I just want a little bit of color on the lips. It's not jarring at all. I feel like it's very natural. I especially love to use this one and the other glossy balms, by the way, whenever I know I'm going out to eat. Typically, if I'm wearing a lipstick, I'll wipe it off before I eat and then I'll reapply it after I'm done eating. And these are just so nice and no fuss for me. I can easily apply them before I leave the house and then remove it when I'm gonna eat and then reapply it very quickly afterwards. Next, we have probably the most expensive one in this category. It is the YSL Candy Glaze Lip Gloss Stick in the shade number 4, Nude Pleasure. This one is described as a nude caramel, and I think that is a perfect explanation for this. If anything, if I were picturing the description nude caramel, I would think a little bit lighter than this, but this is what it looks like on myself. It feels very similar to the Rom&nd one, the melting gloss balm, except this one is just a step thicker. And even though it's thicker, it still doesn't get goopy. It doesn't like give you the stringiness, you know, it stays in place. The opacity of this, I would say, is a full opacity for a lipstick. It completely covers your lips. I've worn this with lip liners, but I don't find that it's necessary. I think that this is the perfect shade for me to just wear on its own. But I find that I typically gravitate towards this one and this shade whenever I'm gonna go out and I want something glossy, but again, no fuss, you know? And if I'm gonna go out to eat for dinner, then I'll go for this if I want something a little bit bolder. Not saying that this is a bold shade, but you know, just something that just accentuates the lip color more than like my eyeshadow or the rest of my makeup. And again, because of that texture and that thickness in the formulation, it does completely cover and plump up and fill in those lip lines, so you have no issue when it comes to that. Next category in the lipstick category are my more traditional lipsticks, and the first one being the Kulfi Heirloom Satin Lipsticks. I have two shades here for you guys. I'm wearing this first one currently. This is in the shade Polki Dots, and the second one is in the shade Khadi Kiss. I am obsessed with these. I love the packaging. It's so fun and very like eye-catching when it's sitting in my lipstick drawer. I especially love this formulation because it is that satin lipstick, like that traditional satin lipstick. However, you can see that it doesn't have any noticeable high shine to it. It almost just adds a little bit of hydration to the lips to where it is the perfect satin lipstick in my opinion, because it doesn't have any additional high shine to it, but it definitely still is really hydrating on the lips. Polka Dots is described as a peach neutral, and Khadi Kiss is described as a light brown neutral. Kulfi is actually a South Asian makeup brand, and a lot of their products are geared towards those that have more brown in their skin tone. A big driver of my channel when I first started it was to swatch a bunch of lipsticks because I wanted to see what it looked like on my skin tone, because there weren't a lot of people representing my skin tone. Where have these been? These are the perfect neutral nudie shades for people that have brown skin tones. The formulation of them are just incredible. It doesn't do too much, you know? Here is Khadi Kiss. Again, it doesn't emphasize any of my lip lines. It sort of like smooths through and fills them in. I'm just absolutely floored by this formulation and honestly, of everything, the shade range that they have. Next is my only liquid lipstick actually that's in this video. It's the Vinyl Ink from Maybelline, and it's in the shade Punchy. Now this one I decided to add to the list because it's really the only liquid lipstick that I like reached for often, you know what I mean? So this one is not going to give you intense shine with one layer. This is one layer right here, and you can see here the finish of it. It definitely still has a little bit of that hydrated look to it, but I wouldn't categorize this as high shine. I love this shade. I think that it's so wearable. It's a beautiful nudie tone without being like too pale on the lips, you know? You definitely can get more shine. Like, see? There's a little bit more shine there. I wouldn't say that these are like high shine like they were marketed. So be aware of that. Even if I don't press my lips together, I still don't get like insane shine from these, but I don't mind it. I especially love reaching for this when I want my lip color to last all day and I don't want to fuss with it. It does have slight transfer, especially on the inner areas of the lips, but the entire lip color pretty much stays put for the most part. It can feel a little bit sticky if you're not careful with it, but if you let it dry down completely, like you keep your lips apart for, I think it's recommended 20 to 30 seconds, or maybe it's a minute, but the stickiness does kind of go away. And yeah, I just particularly love this for when I need something that's going to last all day with no touch-ups. That's not often, but when I need it, this is my go-to. And for my lip stain, it is going to be a glossy lip stain. It is the Peripera Ink Mood Glowy tint. I've talked about this time and time again. It is in the shade number 11, Brown Heaven. I cannot express how much I've worn this year. When it comes to a lip stain, this was my go-to. I love this shade. Whenever you're applying it, it does go on very pale nude, you know, but as you apply it and as you rub it into the lips, it does turn into this darker brown shade that I absolutely love. When it comes to lip stains, I feel like they just naturally tend to turn more reddish, and the reason why I love this one so much is because you can still definitely see a strong brown tone in this one versus turning just like bright red. If you've ever used the Rare Beauty lip oils, this is the same exact texture, same exact ingredients. However, this one stays glossy for even longer than the Rare Beauty ones, and when it fades away, it doesn't leave your lips feeling drier. It actually feels like you just don't have anything on your lips anymore. I prefer that much more over feeling like my lips feel dry, you know? I have it on right now to its full potential, I want to say, but you can definitely wear it more sheer. I've worn this with lip liners, and I've also worn it with like a different lip stain color in the center just to give it a little bit more dimension. It looks beautiful. It's so versatile. When I wanted to wear a lip color, but I didn't want to fuss with reapplying it or anything, and I was okay with it just becoming a stain, this was my go-to. This is constantly in my purse again. I love a good glossy lip stain. Glosses were definitely like my #1 finish of the year. Jumping right into lip glosses, and the first one, I love these so much. These are the Saie Glossybounce Lip Oils. They are described as lip oils. However, I put them in the lip gloss category because I specifically use these as a lip gloss versus like prepping my lips. I have the shade Push on right now. This is described as a soft brown shade, and oh my goodness, this is such an interesting looking brown gloss, you know, like it's slightly cooler, but I still feel like it looks super wearable. The texture of these are insane. They are such a good plushy, silky lip oil texture. No stickiness to them whatsoever, but they do deliver a good amount of shine. I love this like medium opacity when it comes to the lip gloss shades. I feel like they make them very wearable, even these darker shades. This is the shade Dream, which is described as the berry shade. And one of my favorite things about this is it wears just like a lip gloss. However, it feels hydrating like a lip oil. And even when these fade away, I feel like my lips actually feel softer than what they started with before I put the lip oils on. So that is always a plus. You know, sometimes there can be lip products that look really nice and glossy on the lips, but once they fade, your lips are almost like flaky. This does not happen. It's the complete opposite. My lips actually feel nourished after wearing wearing these. Next, I want to talk about the Fenty Heat Gloss Bombs, specifically in the shades Hot Chocolate and Lemon Lava. These two I was reaching for constantly, especially when it came to the Fenty Gloss Bombs. The shade Hot Chocolate I picked up sometime like mid-year, and I have loved it ever since. I don't mind the plumping feeling of these. I don't think that they're too aggressive. I don't think that they hurt or anything. You can definitely feel it. Like, you can definitely feel the heat and the tingle to these, but it doesn't hurt at all. They're very, very wearable, especially for someone like me who prefers more minty plumpers. I want to say it's like a cool, warm tone. It's like right in between, where it still can pull as like a cool undertone, but for me, on myself, I want to say that it's like more of a warm undertone. It has a little bit more of that reddish brown tone in there, so I feel like it's very wearable for me, and it's something that I reach for constantly. I love to top lip colors with this as well. I'll just go on with a very sheer amount of it, and it looks beautiful. This formulation is perfect. It is the best like in between of lip plumping and non-lip plumping. And of course we have Lemon Lava here, and this one is definitely a favorite because of the effect that it gives the lips. So it definitely has more of that chunky glitter in it, but you don't feel the chunky glitter. It doesn't bother me. Like, when I rub my lips together, I don't feel like grittiness or anything. It does have a slightly gold tone to it, but what I like about that is whenever I use this, I like to use it to top lip colors. So whether it be a pinky brown, more of a brown tone, whatever I'm wearing, it kind of elevates it and makes it look metallic. Like, it makes it look even shinier, even more glittery, you know. If I want a little bit more drama, this is going to be the go-to lip gloss for me. And again, same plumping feeling where it's not too much, but it definitely is for the aesthetic for sure. I have to mention the Tower 28 Milky Lip Jellies. These two in the shade Sesame and Cashew were my most worn of their entire line. I'm pretty sure I have like all of the Milky Lip Jellies at this point, but Sesame is the one I'm wearing currently, and this is the shade that changed my mind about mauves. Like, I was like, maybe I do like mauvey tones on myself. This is a beautiful kind of pinky berry mauve tone, and I feel like it's so wearable. What's not to love about this formulation? It feels like a melted down lip balm. I will say that it does feel like you have a layer of like gloss on your lips. It's definitely a different lip feel. So if you don't like the way it feels to have lip product on, you may not like these, but honestly, an overwhelming amount of people that I have talked to are absolutely in love with the Tower 28 Milky Lip Jellies. I love how high shine they are. I love the opacity. You can definitely build it up, but if you don't want to do it full opacity, you can wear it like a very sheer layer and it still looks incredible. You still get a really even layer of that tint, you know? It never looks splotchy. And one thing about these though is if you really build it up, it can get a little bit goopy because it is going to be on the thicker texture side of things if you put too much on. But I mean, other than that, it is a staple when it comes to a lip gloss lip balm duo. It's the perfect lip gloss if you want something that feels nourishing. And if you're looking for a natural nude brown shade, Cashew is the perfect one. This one I reach for so often because it just goes with everything. This is probably my very first favorite Tower 28 Milky Lip Jelly that I've owned. This is my second tube of it too, so that tells you what you need to know. Next up, we have the Merit Shade Slick in the shade Taupe. Now this one is going to be like your no makeup lip color. If you want something you can quickly throw on and not fuss about, if you want something that you can easily reapply throughout the day, and if there's something that you want to just go with every makeup look, this one would be that girl, honestly. The texture of this, if you've ever used the NYX Butter Glosses, pretty much the same thing, to be completely honest. They feel very lightweight. The doe foot applicator is very small and thin, so you can be really precise with this. But there's something about this texture. There's something about the way that this lays on the lips. It almost looks like a very subtle lip oil without being too much, you know, but the lips just look nourished and healthy. I feel like this is going to be one of the most universal glossy lips because I feel like people that don't like too much gloss will still like it, but people that do like a lot of gloss will also like it, because there's just something, I don't know how to explain it, but this one in particular, this shade in the shade taupe, it just gives you kind of like an elevated look. It's not too much. It's one of those like undetectable type of lip colors. I will say that this one is one of those products though that can feel a little bit drying once it fades away, but not too bad to wear like I don't want to wear it, you know what I mean? Next up, another very pricey lip product but totally worth it in my opinion. This is the Westman Atelier Squeaky Clean Lip Balm in the shade Garçon. I have this on right now, and the best way I can explain this is if Tower 28 Sesame, that mauve shade, had a sophisticated older sister, it would be this one. So as you can see, definitely has more of a light medium opacity, but if we consider this a lip balm, it has a really good opacity for a tinted lip balm. You know what I mean? The packaging, the unit of this feels really nice and heavy. It feels luxe. I have been racking my brain trying to figure out a good description for how this feels on the lips, and it is not coming to me. So it is slightly lip oily, you know, when you apply it, it feels slightly balmy, but it kind of glides onto the lips, very sheer and almost feels wet when you're applying it, you know. And the way that it looks, the way that it makes my lips look, it looks so natural. It almost looks like my lip color naturally looks like this, you know. I don't know how to explain it. It's so flattering. The shade itself I think is the perfect medium mauve tone. I have looked at the other shades because I love this formulation so much, but none of them speak to me the way that this one does, especially for that price. Let's be honest. I love the shine that this gives. I feel like it actually leaves my lips feeling nourished after wearing it. I wear this mainly as a lip color, so this is going to be the color that I wear to finish off my look. I've been loving this with brown lip liners and berry tone lip liners because it adds a little bit more dimension and the lip color looks even more elevated that way. The best, truly. And I've worn it to almost every like holiday occasion that we've had. All right, now we're moving on to lip liners, and unfortunately the first lip liner, for some reason, I can't find it. When I'm looking for it to talk about, I cannot find it, but I'm constantly using it. I'm sure you guys know this by watching my videos. It is MAC's Cork Lip Liner. It's described as a muted golden brown, and I think that's a perfect description for it. It does have slightly more of the warm undertones to it, to where it still looks like a natural contour on my medium skin tone. I absolutely love it. For my type of shades, like my lip shades, it works perfectly with all of them. It is like the best shadow type of lip liner, you know, to where it slightly intensifies it, but it's still very wearable. I also really enjoy the MAC lip liner consistency. I love a good pencil lip liner, just like your traditional sharpener pencils, you know, because I find that they last a lot longer on the lips, and while it is a little bit more dry, the MAC lip liners are still very blendable and easy to use. They also last a really long time. My next favorite are going to be, of course, the Makeup by Mario lip liners. I talk about these all the time. What's there not to love about these? The two shades that I have here are the shade Travis and Milk Chocolate. They're very similar, but they are also very different. So Travis does pull a little bit more pinky brown, while Milk Chocolate is going to be your average brown right here. So as you can see right here, Travis and then Milk Chocolate is right there. They're creamy, they're pigmented, and they have such a nice usable brush right here. Just like the Makeup by Mario eyeliners, these do have the brush, but these are shaped differently. They're shaped like an actual like lip pencil, and mine are like really nasty and dirty because I use them often. Maybe I should try washing those. They're so usable. They blend out the lip liner perfectly. I love wearing these with literally all of my lip colors. Like, there's not a single lip color that I have not tried these with that I've put on since I've gotten these, honestly. They're so easy to just throw on. I don't even have to think about it. I love that they add a little bit of depth and dimension into my lip colors without like being overbearing on top of my lip color. And then we have these Makeup Forever Artist Color pencils. They're supposed to be for like your brows, your eyes, your lips, pretty much everywhere, but I specifically love using these on my lips as lip liners. Again, Again, they are going to be your traditional sharpener lip pencils, and the shade Anywhere Caffeine was the first one I picked up, and I really, really love this because, again, it just kind of gives you that shadowy dimension to the lips to where it just darkens up the lips just a touch to make it look like your lip color has natural dimension going on to it, you know? So that's Anywhere Caffeine. And then we have the shade Wherever Walnut. This one I think is a little bit more pinky. It's hard to explain these two shades from each other. I think Anywhere Caffeine is going to look a little bit more like a natural contour, and Wherever Walnut is going to give you a little bit more of that pinky tone to it. I feel like they last super, super long on the lips. These are also really nice if you want to fill in the color of your lips completely and then top it with a gloss, or you don't even have to. They're the perfect amount of dry and creamy, you know? They're dry enough to where the longevity is there. They're gonna last all day, but they're creamy enough to where you can kind of blend them out and blend them into your lip colors. All right, that was everything for this video, guys. Those were all of my favorite lip products from the year 2023. I think it was a pretty solid year for lip products and lip launches. I think that I found a ton of incredible formulations as well as shades. If you guys have any of the same favorites when it comes to lip products, let me know in the comments down below. Or maybe if I have influenced you in this past year to purchase any lip products that are now your current favorites, let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!